Actually, I like kind of protest a lot. During the whole first year of my engineering, I tried to just get out of it and get into some BSc college. We were able to see the effort from your side. So that was kind of motivating for me. So I was like, if the sir is doing this much, then I should at least study. I should at least practice some more.
It is quite hard for me to convince the student that, okay, you do physics, then you do exam, but they want exam first.
No, no, that's not the way it should be done. Like you do
Okay.
physics in the exam, also you do physics. Books actually talk to you much more than the lecture. I can skip a whole subject and move to a next subject, which requires this subject. So when I go to the next subject, I have enough motivation to study the previous subject. For me, like when I stuck somewhere, then I become more serious. At least you should have a Griffiths in your house, no? Like what physicist you are, you don't have a Griffiths, something like
Okay.
that.
So welcome to SN Bose Physics Learning Center. I'm Subramanya Hegde. We all here gathered to interact with Siddarth, our previous students, our 2022 batch student who qualified just and JAM and joined HRI for MSc. And so welcome Siddarth. Thank you so much for joining this session. And we have a lot of questions to ask to you and about your journey and about your experiences and all. And our students need your valuable guidance. Thank you so much for joining this session. So I will begin with my questions, usual questions. Then I will let students to interact with you. Thank you so much for all other students joining this session. Siddarth, could you please tell us about your native place and where are you from and about your parents, occupation, family and all?
Yeah, so
Microphone.
I am from Jodhpur, and
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, so I'm from Jodhpur. I did my schooling there only. My home is at Jodhpur. I belong to the city, and my schooling was there. My university also was there. So I was like always at the home whole the time, school, college, COVID also. And I did my bachelor's in electronics and communication from the MBM University, Jodhpur. Yeah, that's it. That's
So could you please tell us
my
about
education.
your parents' occupation like that?
Yeah, so my mother is a housewife and my father is a government servant. And
Okay.
I also have an elder sister. She is in biotechnology field. So like that's also a good place to interact.
Mm-hmm. So could you please tell us about your school days? Like, I mean, you did schooling in Jodhpur only. Which school
Yeah,
and which high school?
yeah. It was Lakibal Niketan Senior Secondary School. I did like from nursery to 12th there only. And I don't remember much of studies before class 10. I used to just play cricket and all of these things. And after class 11th, I joined some coaching in my city. And there was this teacher, Saurabh Tiwari, and he was from, like, he used to teach the Super 30 in the afternoon. And he used to take the evening batches at his home and also
Mhm.
some other teachers. So from there, I got some interest in firstly in mathematics, the trigonometry and all of those. Then I got involved in physics, and he was also like a wonderful teacher. So I learned quite a few things, very good things from him, and also developed my interest in somewhat philosophy and all of these things also.
Mhm. Okay. So now, okay, you got your interest during that class 11th and 12th only. Now, okay, after that, did you crack any JE or not?
I prepared for the JEE alongside 11th and 12th. I cleared JEE mains, some 94 percentile, I guess, and advanced I didn't clear. I got some sick in the middle of the exam, and I think it was due to the paper now that it was so tough. I got sick in the middle of the exam. But yeah, so because of that only, I got in the engineering college. That was one of the good engineering college, government engineering college of my city. And
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
you
that's it.
qualified JEE mains and then you joined engineering.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
why not BSc or something after?
Yeah, so that thing I didn't actually knew what is BSc. So
Hmm.
at our place it's like always B Tech thing. So I didn't knew about it. I knew I had interest in physics. So I remember just the 10 days ago's JEE Advanced, I sat with my teacher and he was asking like, what will you guys do after this? Or what stream you are all interested in? And then I somehow told him that I don't know about that, but I just want to study physics further and further. And then he tell me that BS is the thing that you should do. But that was like too late. All of my family and my teacher itself, they were expecting me to get into some good engineering college, and so they all like kind of say that if you get in the IIT, then only BSc and MSc is a thing. Otherwise, it will not be worthwhile from some private college in our region. Like it's not good in our region. There are not much of the private BSc colleges.
Yes, yes,
So
that was a very right suggestion. Yeah.
at that time, I didn't accept that suggestion. Actually, I like kind of protest a lot. During the whole first year of my engineering, I tried to just get out of it and get into some BSc college, but I couldn't find one which would take me or I would want to go. So and all in this mess, the came up the COVID, and we were locked down in the home. And then like the COVID was a good thing for me, sorry to say, but it was because I got a lot of time, and the engineering was like something that we just have to do exams in the last 4 to 5 days before exam. We just prepare and just give the online tests, and there was a lot of time to study physics, so I started studying it myself at that time. I again gave that JE, by the way, but that didn't got much of it. I got 91 percentile, didn't land me somewhere.
Okay, I mean, you wanted to again go to IIT for BSc. I mean, that's what your plan.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so even after you join engineering, you tried for JEE advance
Yeah.
again. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so that's
But I
nice.
didn't give advance that year because COVID came before advance, I think, and I was like settled. I also joined the BSc from IGNU, if you know, Indira Gandhi National Open University. I
Mhm.
filled up there. I also didn't know that I can pursue physics after engineering. So I filled up that form of engineering from distance learning. No, BSc from distance learning from IGNU. And
Mhm.
I just paid the fees of the first semester, about 4 to 5 thousand. And the other day, I just saw some blog post. This was by Dushyant Idad Sulla, and he was there. He wrote that actually engineers can do physics after engineering. So, and there's this community where I got into, and it's called Physics After Engineering, and now it's called Citizen of Science. So
Mhm.
there I learned many things, that what can I do along with my engineering, and how should I prepare. JAM and JEST also, that there are these exams that I should prepare for, etc., all this. And then it all was just, okay, study physics, there's engineering, you have to give exams and prepare for JAM and JEST also.
Okay, yeah, so that's nice. So could you please tell us more about your engineering time? I mean, you didn't.
Yeah, it was fun. It was totally fun, nothing else. I did nothing, no studying. I just used to go to college. I enjoyed, I played, I saw my city like never before. I roamed everywhere. I made so much of friends, nothing else. It, just fun.
Okay, okay, you didn't develop interest in that
No, not
coding
at all.
or
That was
electronics.
electronics. I hated the subject. So sorry again to say, but I
Mhm.
hated the subject since the beginning, and I was like, the communication part is quite interesting. Like the final semester when I got into, that was interesting, but again there was no time. Like I was already indulged in physics, so I didn't study that. But that was interesting. But the electronics part I never liked. So uh, yeah, that's it. So I didn't
Okay.
got interested in that.
Mhm. Okay, now, I mean, you have done any project work during last semester, or what was the curriculum in your last semester?
Yeah. So last semester. we had like quite a lot of subjects. So, and we gave the first semester offline, and after that we gave 5 semester online. So we usually don't count that 5 semester because online was not much of the thriving thing, or we needed some practice to give exam. There was MCQ paper, and we did it. And the offline was first time met offline in my seventh semester. So it was like a very big hammer kind of thing on all of our engineering students. So there we study, but there also I like started studying for about 10 days ago before the exams, and like we did the previous year questions, and that was manageable. We just passed the courses and all. But of the project, we had actually 5 to 6 subjects and 5 to 6 labs. And in the final semester, and a seminar in this seventh semester, where there I did this seminar on this quantum mechanics, and like kind of taught my fellow classmates and whoever there was in the seminar about what is quantum mechanics, how we can use it, and all of these stuff. And in the eighth semester, we had a project. Then there also we didn't choose some very hard, but it's a group project actually. So we were 4 to 5 people, and we didn't choose something very hard. It was some ultrasonic detection system kind of.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Now, okay, you joined in the 1 year course, am I right? If I remember, 1 year course. So, how did you find us? Because even in Jaipur only, you have many coaching classes. How did you
Yeah.
find us?
So yeah, so firstly, I tried to find some offline coaching. I didn't find some good offline coaching in my city. So I was looking for this, and I took demos of 1 or 2 coachings, but I like they were just this preparing for exam. Like I didn't like the concept actually. So they started the topic and with the question that was asked in some jam or jest. So I usually don't like that kind of philosophy. So I found your site somehow. I don't remember how you found, but I'll find your just this website. It was written that it was quite strict actually. So if you will not do the assignment, we'll just let you go of the coaching. And there was this, you will follow some standard books, Griffiths and all. So that was it. I think that's sufficient. I want that. And I joined when I took the demo, I think also a demo at your coaching. And yeah, I liked the classroom. So then I joined it.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you. So, now could you please explain? Okay, you joined during your last semester, am I right?
Yeah,
January or something?
yeah, last
Ah,
semester.
that was your
In the,
last semester.
I joined in February 2022.
Yeah, I think 2022 batch, 2022 February.
Huh.
Okay, that was your last semester. Now, how did you manage your college as well as our course?
Yeah, so for the course, like I already studied quantum mechanics, classical mechanics, and math methods. So these subjects I already covered myself previously. So
Mhm.
I mainly learned the statistical mechanics, electronics, and this atomic physics, and all of these other subjects from the lectures that you give. And I usually were not able to follow the live lectures. I used
Right.
to watch these recorded lectures. And
Mhm.
assignments also, like I did. Sometimes I was this continuously doing, and sometimes I was like uh, unable to provide the assignments on the timeline or something like that.
Mhm.
But the
So,
lectures and assignment, the final tests also that I give, that time I
mhm.
was a bit serious when you were teaching this statistical mechanics and also taking some tests. So that time I was kind of free from college, I think, something like that. There
Mhm.
I was seriously following up the coaching material and all this.
Before you said you studied quantum mechanics, classical mechanics, and all.
Yes,
How
yes.
did you study? I mean, during first year of your engineering only was
During
studying.
second and third year, the COVID time mainly. That
Uh-huh.
time I like For the quantum mechanics, I watched that lectures of Alan Adams and followed Griffiths. And for classical mechanics, I studied that book by John R. Taylor. There's a book by
Hmm.
John R. Taylor that have a lot
Hmm.
of questions, I think. So
Hmm.
that and what else? Math methods. Yeah, math methods I studied from Mariel Boas.
Okay. So I mean, you knew that you are going to attend these exams, am I right? During COVID
Yeah,
only you have started preparing for exam only, am I right?
so I didn't quite actually was preparing for the exam. At that time, I was studying, like nothing
Mhm.
else. I was studying and I was doing question from Griffiths if I could. Then,
Mhm.
uh, then that is why I joined your coaching. Like you said that the Griffiths and you will follow the questions of these books. So I wanted to
Yes.
do those things. So I joined in so that I can be more consistent and I can do that in the time or before the exam if I think. That was
Hmm.
the main
Now,
point that helped me in the jest, actually.
okay,
In jest.
how did you choose Griffiths, Mary Elbows and all? Usually, students will quickly pick some Indian
Yeah,
author book. They don't
no,
pick
like
Griffiths. Am I right?
I was skeptical about that. I didn't want to choose some Indian author book, and I searched the web for like the good books and that community, the physics after engineering. That was like the
Mhm.
best thing. They have all the blogs post of the what lectures books followed to of each of the subjects. So from
Mhm.
there or some Telegram groups by interacting someone else like that.
Okay,
And yeah,
okay.
it was like it was a bit difficult in the beginning. Like for the each subject, there are multiple books. You try to indulge in some. You don't get it. You try another. You don't get it. You try another. That wasted time, but that give you a good base for the subject also. And therefore, I finally stuck for the Griffiths and Mariel Boas and this.
Mhm. Okay, so that's very nice. Now, I mean, suppose if you, while reading or solving Griffiths or Mary Elbows, if you
Mhm.
found something difficult, I mean, how did you, what you call, come out of those difficulty or any doubts or whatever? I mean, if you have
Yeah,
any doubts.
sometimes if I could ask, I asked in the Telegram group or something like that, but that usually didn't work. So I
Mhm.
most of the doubts that I had weren't able to find. So I wrote them and I asked you in the class when later on I joined the course. So when you were teaching this quantum mechanics, that like I was watching the lectures but didn't making any notes. I already had my notes. So I was just
Mhm.
asking the doubts that I wrote at that time. So I used to ask the doubts in the classes and some doubt session, something like that.
So, okay, I mean, before even joining our learning center only, you had already started
Yeah,
reading or solving Griffiths as well as Mary Elbows. So that
yeah.
was a very advantageous for you. Okay, then, uh, okay, so then I think your engineering course was ended by June, July, or something.
Yeah, that was also a story. So before the gem, I like we were not sure when our seventh semester exam will held. So
Mhm.
they held just a month before GEM. So like the whole GEM was on some 10, 12, 14, something like that. And the past month, the whole that was our exams. So I was like in a shock also, like how would I study? So I, of course, I didn't have time to study for a GEM in the exam time. So I had left only what 10 or 12 days. So in that 10 to 12 days, what I did was so January was whole occupied by the college. So 10th or 12th Feb was JAM exam. So that time in 10 days I did the previous year questions subject wise. So that was kind of all, and that was uh, quite a sufficient thing to crack the JAM. I think because previous year questions if you do that's all. Then you can manage it if you have done previously the courses properly, like you should have the understanding of course, but previous year question practice just previous year question is fine, I think, for gem, but just is not the case. This just is
Mhm.
different.
Mhm. Okay. So now, could you please explain a bit more about your exam hall experience? I mean, in JAM and JEST and what you call, how did you manage that exam hall pressure? You were scared about exam or something, or you used to be very
No, no,
confident exam?
I was not scared. Like I was confident in this thing, but like we used to do this practice paper or practice exams before the jam, so that there was scoring something, and like it was good and bad. For the jam it was not good. In the jam we had this numerical questions, so I kind of did all of them wrong, like with some points or some, like they were direct question, but I made some mistakes in the calculations, I think. So most of the numerics was wrong, and rest of the question also, the number of question that I attended in the exam was lesser than when I practiced. So that was kind of, I think, exam hall experience, because I thought that is not well, but luckily the paper that year was kind of a bit harder. So I ended up in the same ranking zone that I was practicing for. Like the what I would have got in the my practice test, I almost ended up near that.
Mhm. Okay. So
Yeah,
then I think, okay, by the time you completed your engineering, you had JAM and JEST with you. Am I right? Am I right?
yeah, and
Uh-huh.
just yes. Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
tell you about Jest. So the Jest was I didn't study later on because that was incontinuous, and that was discontinued. And for the jam, I kind of revised and did it well. So after that, I just used to attend some doubt sessions, and if you had any extra courses that you taught in the last part after the jam, so I just studied that, make notes of them, but didn't study much for the Jest exam. I remember like that just 2 days before the test, I was like roaming here and there. I was just kind of having fun. And just when I sat in train for Jaipur to give the test exam, then I started revising. So it was like 1.5 day I revised for the jest, but like that was, I was like confident at that time that it would be sufficient for me. So, like my family also, my father was quite angry that you are not studying and you are giving this exam. Why are you giving this exam? So, but I was kind of confident. Like I'll study what I had studied, and there's nothing else I can do now. So I just gave this jest, and jest also we had this some kind of pattern change. There were 9 marks questions and 3 marks questions. So that also helped me quite a lot, because the problems that we did from Griffiths and all these standard books, the similar problem was there for the 9 marks question. So I did like 11 of them correct, 9 marks question, and that only cleared the way for me to like give interviews for any of these colleges.
Okay, okay. So nice. I mean, so the point that all of us have to note down here is, just exam will check whole of your ability. I mean, a day
Yeah,
before exam or a week before exam
yeah, that will
doesn't matter.
matter much.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so nice. So then, okay. About our course, could you please tell us about our course? I mean, how was the course and some reviews about our course, and if you wish to add if anything else required in our course, because you already had many semester in HRI. So
Mhm.
could you please talk about our course?
Yeah, so like I almost mentioned most of the perks that I got from your course. Was, it was just fine. There was, I don't think I need to add anything. Like for me, it was the perfect course, that coaching that I would have get, because there was this assignments and the classes also, like the session interaction. The best thing is like anytime we can ask you doubts, and if you don't get it, you, like you used to say, you will get back to it. that that's like we were able to see the effort from your side. So that was kind of motivating for me. So I was like, if the sir is doing this much, then I should at least study, I should at least practice some more, I should at least give the assignments on time. That's the least of me that I can do for to continue this coaching. And so
Okay.
yeah, so that was it. I don't think I want to add anything else or something. And most of the things I mentioned meanwhile, like what advantage that I got from the coaching.
Mhm. Okay, so now if I see the timeline, I think you joined. Uh, okay, so again, I should have taken your interviews quite long back, because again, you will
Yeah,
also forget a lot of things.
yeah, you also told me in meanwhile, but
2020.
I kind of didn't see of the message of it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So I can see here just 2023 and JAM 2023 qualified actually. So that
Yes,
means you joined 2022 batch 1 year course during your 6, 7, 8 sem that time actually.
yeah,
So by the time of 8 sem, again, by the time you completed your engineering, you had this exam
yeah,
qualification
yes.
with you.
Yeah, this also this interview of the HRI that I gave was
Mhm.
a day before one of my exams. That was also like very stressful day of my life because there this interview was delayed by 3 hours, and not like we already knew it will be delayed by 3 hours. I was there was some a tough exam on the other day, and I had interview on just the previous day. So I was waiting, just waiting for my chance to come, but it got delayed to 3 and 3.5 hours. But
Mhm.
after the interview, I knew that I have cleared it. I like I made the impression, and I'll get selected. Huh?
It was online interview, am I right?
Yeah, it was
Online.
online.
Okay. Could you please tell us more about that interview? Like what question they asked? I mean,
Yeah.
like that.
So usually they ask what subject you want to start with, and what's your favorite subject, and all these things. And there I said this classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, and I think mathematics or something also. So they started asking from this classical. I think there was the Anirban Basu. He asked me this question. I'm not sure, but he asked me this connected coupled harmonic two particles, two whatever mass is connected with a spring, and we are stretching it and letting it go. So just describe what kind of motion there will be or something like that. So that
Mhm.
was, I think, the simple question. So that I answered, I explained how it will move and all of this. And yeah, that was it. And other question, someone asked me about this differential equation, ordinary differential equation, and with homogeneous and non-homogeneous differential equation. That was also a straightforward question. And third question was this Aditi Sen ma'am asked me about from quantum mechanics about harmonic oscillator, like what's the ground state energy and wave function, how would it look? At that time, since I didn't revise any of things, so I wasn't able to recall what's the ground state wave function for harmonic oscillator. So I so she gave me enough time. She was like, they are all this friendly people, so they gave me enough time to think, and I was somehow like, this is some oscillator in this. This is the potential. So how the wave function should be. So I kind of explained them in the image that it should look something like this, and then she said, "Oh, yeah, that is correct. But what is this?" So then I suddenly it cleared, oh, it's a Gaussian. Then she
Mhm.
asked, okay, so now what's the formula for the Gaussian? Then I said that, and that was it.
Mhm. Okay,
So
nice.
these three questions were asked, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now, I mean, in HRI, was that interview for MSc or integrated PhD? I mean, do you
Must be.
have integrated PhD option?
Yeah, so for integrated PhD, we have this interview after a year. Like after completing first year, we can give the written exam and the interview for getting into integrated course. But firstly, they just select for MSc, all of the students.
Okay, okay, okay. So that was the interview for MSc, enrolling to
Yes,
MSc. Okay, after first year, you need to take one more exam and interview to enroll to integrated PhD.
yes.
Okay. Okay, so
But
that's
there,
nice.
yeah, so here, this integrated PhD also, it's not like the 1 year will be saved kind of thing, because it starts from this second year. So from second year, it takes 6 years. So it's overall 7 years for MSc and PhD. That's the
Mhm.
standard time usually that people take to do both.
Okay. Mhm. Okay, now did you attend any other interview apart from HRI?
No, I didn't. Like, since I said it was in middle of the exam and most of them were offline, so I wasn't able to go. And after the HRI interview, I didn't give any. As I like HRI, I saw just like as I saw the website of your coaching, I saw the website of your of HRI, and I decided that I'll go there. So that was it. And interview like made it mostly clear. And so there was also this either Mohali and one or two more interviews were pending that I didn't give because they were offline also, and I didn't want to like do it. Huh?
You had a confidence that you will get selected in HRI, or did they
Yeah.
send any offer letter
Yeah,
quickly?
they sent later, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't remember when they sent the offer letter, but they sent it quite. There was a time gap between.
Okay, you have decided I have to do here only in HRI only,
Yeah,
like that you have
yeah.
decided? Okay, okay. So that's very nice. So now could you please tell us about HRI and the environment over there, and what are the subjects, what are the research that one can do over there,
Yes,
and
so
about.
for master's student, there is not much of research that we can do. Like the coursework, that's the most important thing right now. Like we should grasp the subject as better as we can. And for other than that, there is obviously there is a research opportunity. Opportunity. There are different groups. Like QIC group is quite active. Quantum Information Computing. That's the most active group, and a condensed matter group is also active. So these two are like they have a lot of people and lot of students. They all are working and they are having parties and all these things. And there's this string group that is like the string group is somewhere up there and we can't reach it because there's too much background that we need to study. And for the PhD also, Sting Group takes their own separate interview other than the general all of these interview after the first year. The second year when the students assign for projects. So there also Sting, like Sting is a big deal. So, and this particle physics, in particle physics, we have like 2 to 3 professors. So right now, there are a lesser number of professors, but they are like improving these things. Thus, they are getting in more, taking in more of them. And about the course also, like they have this course this semester. They'll change the master's course in 1 or 2 years. They are planning to like update the syllabus and mix a few subjects so that the students can get benefit from that. And for the atmosphere, like it's not a vibrant atmosphere, like it's not an IIT, obviously it's a research institute, so it's very peaceful. It's a peaceful college. There are less number of people. Nothing we have to worry of. Everything we get in the campus. Or first thing is the first year MSc students get stayed out of the campus. Like our hostel in the first year was 4 to 5 kilometers away from the campus, and there's a bus service that took us here and there. But that also, like the food is not available in the hostel. The mess is only in the college. So in the whole first year, we used to come in the morning 9 or 10 a.m. and I used to go at 10:30 p.m. in the night. So like 12 hours almost. Everyone had to stay here, sit here for 12 hours and
Mhm.
just go there, sleep there, and again come back here to the campus.
Okay, so that's nice. So before joining HRI or during your engineering while you were studying physics or during our course, you had any specific interest in any physics domain, or you
Yeah,
just try to explore? I mean, you just joined HRI to just explore all subjects. You had
No,
anything in your mind?
I know that I don't have interest in any of the fields that have application. I did engineering, and that's also I am mostly into the theoretical in this. I don't know what we say, the high energy physics or quantum gravity or these kind of subjects. Like not into quantum information, condensed matter, and astronomy, astrophysics. I'm not into those.
Okay, now, I mean, you had that interest before joining HRI, or now
Yeah,
you are developing that?
no, that was from the beginning, I think.
Okay. Hmm. Now, I mean, in HRI, I mean, how you are getting into those fields, because those fields requires lot of courses, am I right? I
Yeah,
mean,
so that's
uh,
it. So just the courses, we can try to do them best, and like there's nothing much extra that we can do now. That the basic courses are necessary to study these fields. So I'm just trying to follow up them.
okay. So now, are you planning to do integrated PhD over there, or take
Yeah,
MSc
no,
and
the
go?
integrated PhD we already had an interview and I didn't clear that, so
Mhm.
that was a setback. But I don't know if I want to continue for like we can also join in the PhD here.
PhD. Mhm.
After the second year, we have to do get into interview and we can join for the PhD without
Mhm.
giving some national level exam. But I am not sure about those things. Like if I want to do here or go abroad or somewhere else in India, like not sure.
So, did you start any research project, or still you are doing coursework?
No, so that is what. So I asked for project from one string theory professor, Anirban sir. So he gave me something that requires me to do all of the coursework. So I'm just hanging out and doing the coursework and trying to study some subject myself. Nothing else I can do right now.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. So that's nice. So now, could you please tell us more about how they run the course? Suppose, okay, in the first year, first semester, do they have quantum mechanics, electrodynamics, these things, or directly advanced courses like that? I mean,
No. They start from quite basic. So we had this thing that we for the electrodynamics we had some teacher. It was his first time teaching the subject, so it didn't end up well, and we like didn't study much of the electrodynamics. We just kind of tried to do it somehow, the pieces that we can do to get get it to continue other subjects that require electrodynamics. Not much, but from this year, like the best teachers that we have here are taking the first year courses. So that's a very good thing from now. If like someone who have joined now or who will join later, they will be quite benefited. So,
Mhm.
and in quantum mechanics, yes, we started just from basic, like why quantum mechanics. Also, we addressed that question in our first class. And
Mhm.
classical also, we almost started from the basics. Mathematical methods, this teacher was very good. So he started from basics, but the classes and assignments were like quite tricky.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So I mean,
and
so
master's course
you said
mostly starts from scratch, mostly.
okay. So basic means, I mean, okay, if they ask a question on quantum mechanics, to what, I mean, from which level, I mean, which books you need to refer like that? I mean, any reference book like that, we
Yeah,
can judge
so
the level.
for quantum mechanics 1 and quantum mechanics 2, this JJ Sakurai is the best book that we, like it's best for me. It's the personal taste. So
Mhm.
I love this book, Sakurai. And electrodynamics is the Jackson is the thing, but
Mhm.
Jackson is quite tough. So like also, so they mostly the exams or they need us to follow somewhat Jackson, but we can
Mhm.
also manage. There are some lecture notes online of some Texas University that are also good. So EDs, I think a little bit above the level of Griffiths,
Mhm.
not in all of the aspects, but some of things are above the level of Griffiths. Quantum mechanics also, like I followed Griffiths my whole bachelor's and this thing, but here I realized that Griffiths had its way, and some kind of formalism technique that I lacked because of that. I didn't uh, quite ever realize the difference between wave mechanics and this matrix mechanics thing. I realized that much later, like how that we wrote this x psi, that is a wave function that we call. I never realized that thing before. So I was when in the class someone wrote this, I was like, this is the amplitude. Why you are calling it the wave function? Then I studied that book from Townsend. That was a very good book, but that's not a follow-up book. That's the one read book, I think. So the formal book is Griffiths and Sakurai. You study Griffiths or Zetli. Some people prefer Zetli over Griffiths. So that's the case. So Griffiths, Sakurai. In the meanwhile, if you want to study this Townsend, that's a very good book.
Okay, so nice. So I mean, it was from Griffiths to Sakurai level. You are saying, I mean, you are going from Griffiths to Sakurai level
Yes.
and advanced quantum mechanics like that.
Sakurai, like in the first year, Sakurai is now done. Like we have to go more past it.
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the third semester, we have all these subjects like quantum field theory and general relativity. So these are all the new starts now. So
Okay. Okay. So nice. I mean, are they running all courses every year, or sometimes they will run one after other? I mean, in alternative years like that. I mean,
no courses like the structure is the fixed number of subjects and the subject that we will study that was fixed long ago since the course started. MSc course started here. But as I'm saying, they are like kind of, I think, planning to shift some of the courses and merge some of the courses to save some time and something like that. Because like we have quantum mechanics 1, quantum mechanics 2, and quantum mechanics 3. So we study quantum mechanics 3 in this semester, third semester. So someone was saying that they are planning to move it in the second semester only, like the merging these three into two subjects, QM1 and QM2. That's it.
so I'll go back a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
so how did you focus? Because okay, you picked Griffiths, Mary Elbows before joining our course. I mean, you didn't have that kind of environment, am I right? Maybe your engineering friends were not
Yeah.
doing
No,
this
not
kind
at
of
all.
thing.
Yeah.
So then, how did you focus? And because if we focus, we can do anything. So that is the truth. So how did you
Yeah.
focus? I mean, you didn't have that social media distraction, or
But like I don't use Instagram. I had WhatsApp distraction and Telegram also. Like it was not a distraction. It was just the studies stuff that I used it for. So I I was like it was motivating for me that no one else in my college is studying this subject and I was only the person who was studying it. So like that was enough motivating for me to just study it and like follow the interest that I'm doing, because most of the student in our engineering, they don't like what they are doing. So that is very motivating thing to watch, that I am at least doing what I want to do. So that was it.
okay? So now, what was your parents' view during your engineering? You were not doing engineering properly and focusing
Yeah,
on physics.
sometimes they were not like before they knew that I'll not listen to them. So just they just wanted me to pass the courses. So they just told me or got angry on me when they felt the need that I must be tell that you must pass this course and you should study now since the exams are coming. That's it. Like nothing more kind of pressure.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
we were
now,
set even in the first year. There, I protested a lot. There, they protested a lot. Then we came to this solution that I'll study physics on my own and will continue this
pass
after
the
the
engineering.
engineering.
Okay, come to agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So now, how you were? Is there any skill that you developed in engineering that helped in? your current journey, that's helping in your current journey?
Yeah. So the mathematics I did because we had these courses, the advanced engineering mathematics and the physics mathematics that we study. They're exactly the same. Maths is maths, and it's required in all of the subjects. So that was like the first course that I properly did there, and also in the physics point of view, I properly studied that subject. And later on, like I don't know. I in some of the things I have this better perspective of things that comes in relating with the real world or something like that, communication systems and like why we use those things and all that. But like professionally, if we talk like when we study physics, there's not much. I think I get help from those subjects because I didn't study much of the engineering.
Mhm. Okay, that engineering math helped here. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the exact same math that we do. So that was
okay, that you did seriously in engineering. I mean, math you did seriously.
that semester also went offline online some way, but I did continue studying that, and I was like, I'll complete this before the semester gets over. And obviously, electronics I did from that helped me this clear this jam and jest questions. We
Mhm.
had this digital electronics. I did a course in first year and analog also. Like
Mhm.
electronics, I have this basic grasp of electronics that
Okay.
a general average BSc student should have. Uh,
Mhm.
Without engineering, if I was in BSc, then I wouldn't have touched electronics ever. Like I would have postponed it till the end, and I don't think I would have done any of the question in JAM or just of electronics.
In your engineering exams, in engineering math exam, so do they used to ask problem oriented paper or much theory like that? I mean, how
No
was the?
theory, maths. No, in maths, what theory they can ask? Like they were just this 4 to 5 numericals, but those also were fixed. Usually, we get on what the previous years had. So
Mhm.
nothing much of the practice is needed there.
Mhm.
In the
Okay.
online exam, there was something. In the online exam, we had 50 questions and what 1 hour or something like that. I don't remember. But there, like, there it was kind of challenging to do the math problem fast and submit the paper.
Mhm. Okay. Now, during your that last semester, during our course, what was your timetable? Like when you used to do our assignment or reading this physics book? I mean, at what time? Like timetable, daily timetable, like that.
Yeah. As I mentioned, my college was not that serious, so it was not like that. I have to attend classes from 9 to 4 in the evening. Like there were 1 to 2 class, and also if we want to attend, then we attend. The labs were essentials. Labs we had to attend, and there were much to learn, so we used to attend labs. And I mostly skipped the classes of my engineering, and then this. Usually, I studied in the evening or in the nights, like 1 a.m. or 12 a.m., 1 2 something like that. And depends. It depends. Like it was not something fixed. I used to write this thing that this is the topic that I'll do this day, and that's it. That I'll do it anytime that I want. Like
Mhm.
I'm not disciplined in that way, that in the time sense, but I used to write this to-do list kind of thing that I'll do this, and if I were not able to do, then I write it the next day. I didn't do it that day. Do it now, something like that.
I think my questions are almost over.
Uh, I am Faizan. I am also an engineering student. I just finished my exams, my BTech 8th semester in first week of July.
Yeah.
Uh, Sir, my question is like, did you appear for GATE, TIFR, and CSR net?
Yeah, I did appear for TIFR. I didn't qualify that, and Gate I qualified, but I don't remember how much was this. The rank was something I don't remember the rank. It was like 400, 600, something like that.
So,
And
sir,
that I didn't.
my question is that like, how did you approach these exams and what went wrong?
Yes, for the TIFR and this. So TIFR is like very early. I think it's in November or something like that. So at that time I was not prepared for the exam point of view at all. So I just gave it and didn't never practiced also, never gave any mock test or something like that. So that was obviously no to go. And for the gate was the same day with the just the day previous or just the day later the jam. So I had one choice that I prepare for jam or the gate. So I prepared for jam because for I think what preparing for the exam is doing the previous year question mainly. Apart from studying the concepts that you must know, that's the like prerequisite. And after that, the preparation is mostly in the practicing. So gate practicing is different than practicing for jest and jam. So I didn't practice for the gate at all. So I ended up with some low rank. And for jam, I did practice the previous year question. So it was some not decent, but it was some fine scored. I got some IIT Mandi and IIT Jodhpur from that. And the
Okay.
jest is like whole of your life. So what you did before, you have to like jo boya wo kaatoge kind of thing.
Okay. So I mean, will HRI consider both just and jam or only just?
No, only jest. And net not for MSc. MSc only jest.
Okay.
And now from now on, like they don't have interview for masters. They have this written test for MSc.
They have separate written test?
Yeah, they have a separate written test after the jest for master
Yes.
sentence, and there is no interview.
Then JAM is okay. JAM will quite restrict, am I right? I mean, so many students usually try to focus only on JAM because, I mean, in their undergrad, they will not have any exposure to just syllabus actually. They are
Hmm.
quite scared to, I mean, just like you picked Griffiths, they are quite scared to pick Griffiths and go to the depth or something.
Yeah,
So, but some institute like, I mean, HRI and ICTS, TIFR and all, they're not considering JAM actually. I mean, I
yeah.
don't know why
That
they.
that's the exactly the reason because like you should have picked Griffiths in your bachelor's. Like that's their concept also. Like since I also picked Griffiths, I also liked many things before coming here. Because in the
Mhm.
classes I realized that there is some things that I lacked before because of engineering, but like that's not an excuse. I lacked before because I lacked. Then there's nothing excuse about this. So
Mhm.
one must do some good book studies to get here or in some research institutes.
Okay. So then this BSc or BTech for BSc or BTech student, I mean, during gate time, better to focus on JAM. I mean, if
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
uh,
yes. The gate is not for master's entry. Gate is not much of useful. So JAM is better because IITs somehow are also good in these
mm,
things. The master's course, IITs are not way poor that some people might thought like IIT is very bad choice as compared to research institute. In masters, it uh, it it is fine. Like it's good. There is no
mm,
nothing special about master's course. There is the coursework that you should do, and that's it.
okay. So I mean, I used to suggest like this actually. You correct me if or you add anything until TFR, which is in the December usually. So focusing on
Hmm.
the whole syllabus, whatever we do in our course. So
Yeah,
then from TIFR, so bifurcation, like BTech and BSc student can focus on JAM
yeah,
only, and
hmm.
other student, MSc student, they can focus on CSIR NET and GATE exam
Yeah,
because they have very different syllabus. JAM and GATE,
yeah.
they have very different.
Gate only. Na net is like quite a late, or it already had happened by then. So it's in
So I mean,
December.
it was quite disturbed that its cycle was disturbed, but it used to happen at the end of December actually. December
Hmm.
first
Yeah.
or second week is the
Yes.
TIFR,
Yes.
that is fixed actually. So
Yeah.
I used to okay, after TIFR, I mean, quite bifurcation. Okay, MSc student, you focus on CSR, NET and Git. I mean, I'm JAM student, and soon after JAM, at least 1 month or at least 15 days time will be there. Then you
Hmm.
focus on again just syllabus, like I mean extra
Hmm.
chapters, whatever you left for JAM exam,
Yes.
you start
Yes.
so covering up those topics. So that, I mean, if they have multiple qualification, or I mean, it just will open up some more institute like HRI, ICTS. So I don't know what are the other institute that they'll consider only just. I'm seeing here participating institute. Okay.
Hmm.
So I hope this is the right. You feel this is the right guidance?
Yeah, this is the right approach.
Mhm. Okay. So anything
Also, like
else?
one thing that I think everyone must do is the subject-wise previous year question of all of the subjects, because like I remember I didn't study ED back then also in my bachelor's. So, but when I did the subject-wise question, I first time got introduced to that concept of quarter wave plate, half wave plate, and that was like the fixed question every year. Two questions or something like that are from that topic. So
Mhm.
JAM syllabus is, you can cover quite a lot from this previous year question subject
Previous
wise.
year.
Subject wise, like, because just to understand what topics they are asking and how regularly they are asking.
Mhm. So, but last paper was quite different from very previous one. Until previous, it was quite, I mean, usual question. Like, as you can predict the question, last
Yeah.
time the questions were predictable but quite lengthy. I mean, student took
Yeah.
more time to solve the question. But earlier they
This
were
year,
tricky.
2024.
Yeah, so 2024. But before last, I mean, question papers were similar. Like, I mean, you could
Hmm.
able to predict the question, and questions were tricky, not lengthy. Last time they made
Hmm.
it bit lengthy. I mean, they said it was
Hmm.
taking more time, more numerical, like calculator based works and all.
Yes.
So I mean, okay, keep on changing, but yeah, okay, nice.
Hi Siddarth, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm Rahul. So
Hello.
I just wanted to ask you, for someone who is preparing for a PhD entrances, at like someone who is willing to, someone who already cracked an entrance and he is appearing for the interview at some premier institutes like HRI or of that level. So, how different should it be the approach? Like, what level questions can we expect?
For PhD.
Yeah, yeah, for PhD entrances, do you? Yeah,
So, like,
can you give
I
insights
don't
on
have
that?
much exposure, but I saw interviews here at HRI. So,
Yeah.
there they, of course, everywhere they'll ask what subject you know, and you'll say something, and they'll start asking from that subject, and then they can delve into anything. But for PhD, these premier institutes, like, they require to have some good grasps of this concept, like, in the quantum mechanics. If we have something like, I was asked this question before this integrated PhD, and the same question was asked to the PhD students in my committee. So they ask something like, if you have two bases, and one of this eigenvalues degenerate, then will that form a basis? There are two commuting operators, and one of the commuting operators have degenerate eigenvalues. Then, like, what will be then? Will both of the operators have the same eigenbasis? Will they share the common eigenbasis? So it was like a simple question, but the answer to which is obviously that they'll not share all of the common eigenbases. At only one will be common, and rest might be different bases. So that was a straightforward question, but like, I'm trying to let you know what type of question they ask. Like, this is a basic question, and it's not like very tough, but it does require that you study this subject properly, or like you understand these things, something like that. And what else? I was asked something about this wave function and spreading of wave function. So yeah, so there's nothing much more that they need, but what you have studied should be like you should have good grasp on that.
Okay, so what about your methods course? What math methods did you take, like in your MSc, and the
Yes.
specialized courses?
So math methods, the first semester was mostly algebra, like matrix algebra and some questions. No, yeah, mostly this algebra and some introduction to tensors, something like that. And now this semester, the MM2, that does have this integral transforms and group theory, and yeah, mostly it's it, and that's the solving this differential equation. It's part of this integral transforms thing. So solving partial differential equation, ordinary differential equations, and all. Yeah, what the second question you asked?
Yeah, so you are planning to work on theory, like what
Yeah,
exactly are you planning?
yeah. So now on, just I took this elective in general relativity, and
Mhm.
had this already course on QFT. So I mostly think that it depends on the college that I'll land up on in the PhD. What group is mainly focusing there? So here, if I stay at the HRI, then I'll most probably want to get into this string group. And if I end up somewhere else, it might depend. Like RRI have this quantum, they have strings and quantum, something like that group. So there they work in quantum gravity and string theory. That's a separate branch or a little branch of quantum gravity, the whole bigger picture, if you say. So I mostly want to get into this quantum gravity thing,
Okay,
but
okay.
can't say something now for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck for that.
Yeah. Yeah, how important is discussions with peers? That quite important, that is, but like it depends on your taste. Like if you want to interact, you interact. If you don't want to interact, you must do a bit of interaction. Like that's necessary. It will help you, like some, or don't know.
So I mean, how they divide the marks and all in your semester? Like how many marks for attend? I mean, this assignments or how many for
That's
final?
uh, so that's the perk for this being in this research institute. Like they are flexible. Like teachers, there are some teachers that give assignments very tough sometimes. So they just they decrease their uh, contribution in the main exams, or some, if they will, they can take some mid sem or end sem, some they can make some very tough paper, and they just average it out. Depends they on their, like their own thinking, that this much of knowledge is necessary and this much is not necessary.
Okay,
Not
depending on the instructor.
necessary, but something like that.
Okay, it depends on the instructor.
Yeah, it depends on it. The total call
Okay,
is instructors and students also. Like we can ask them when to take exam and when not to take exam. It's the communicate. It's like communicating environment.
Mhm. So now, suppose if they give any assignment, how many days they will give you to submit that one? Like, I mean, was that how they design the assignment? Because you can copy or you can
No,
somehow
like
now.
usually assignments, like we weren't able to find it somewhere online, and if also we find it online, it needs some understanding to do it again on the pen and paper. So assignments are made in a way that they benefit us. Like we should, it's like we should do the assignment, and we get much more of it from anything else.
Mhm. Mhm.
In the classroom course, assignment is the most important part of our this curriculum. There
Mhm.
we learn the most. Like in the classes, that is fine, but assignment is very good thing.
Okay, now I wish to collect whatever I understood out of this session. The main thing is, you didn't hesitate to pick those Griffiths or Mary Bose and study yourself actually, and you are not distracted by social media. I mean, that was again one more advantage. So now one more question, quite important. So did your JEE preparation helped? So during these while studying Griffiths or while solving any problem?
That helped a lot. Like that still helps me now. The
Mhm.
the concepts I built up there, and the things I learned, some tricks or some way to do the question. Like in the JAM JEST, I said like I didn't practice much of this and just give this 10 days of. But I was like doing that thing from my 11th class, so I knew what I can do in the exams. So that helped me a lot.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So that's one of the
Yeah.
okay advantage. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Why didn't you choose conventional way of preparing for this exam? Like, why did you choose Griffiths or something? Why you didn't thought like there may be some material that I can study for these exams? Like, I mean,
No. That was like in the second or third year. Why would I prepare for it? Like I want to study physics. I want to
physics.
do physics, and I did physics. That's all. Like at that time, I was not ambiguous. There was no confusion about what to study and what not to study. I just wanted to study physics. At the exam thing, I knew I'll give it and I'll do it later on. If I were not able to clear them, then I'll drop a year and I'll clear them. So like now is the time for study. So I just studied that time for like
Okay.
just
It is quite hard for me to convince the student that okay, you do physics, then you do exam, but they want exam first.
no, that's not the way it should be done. Like you do
Okay.
physics in the exam, also you do physics. That's it.
Okay. So there is one question on Google Meet. Did WhatsApp help you or distract you during the exam study? WhatsApp.
Yeah, it distracted. Usually it used to distract, but like when I realized that it's distracting, I muted it. When I think I want to be distracted, I unmuted it. Like it was flexible.
Yeah. I mean, so in all Android application, when we install it won't ask, am I right, that to mute the notification, I think. You
So
need to
that
go to
yeah,
app and you need to mute the notification. That
yeah,
always in our hand. I mean, we can always do that one.
yeah. That
Uh,
habit. I didn't have a phone till my first year of engineering. So I used to carry that Geo phone for the first year, and in the when in the lockdown I got this phone from my father. It was some old Android 4, like Redmi Note 4, but it was Android 4 phone. So I used to do it on that, and I didn't want to use a phone back then. But my parents insisted that you must have or you need this thing. So I started muting from beginning. Like I didn't want it to disturb me from the beginning. So I controlled my device, and my device didn't control me from the beginning. That was like the setup between us.
mhm.
And then I finally got a new phone because of you. Your app didn't support on my previous phone, so I finally had to take a new phone myself.
Sir, is there something that you would like to change, like about your this journey of preparing for these exams?
No, I don't think I would like to change it. What's happened is happened. Why would I like to change now?
The if you are preparing some dish, now it is tasting good. Why do you go back and change the recipe?
Yeah. No, even if
Yeah.
it's not tasting good, like why would I think to go back? I will think to like what should I do next to make it good or learn
Mhm.
from previous mistakes to make it good now. Like and there's no point in thinking about like previous things that we could have done, we should have done like that.
So I'm not like talking about you. Like if something that you learned that can help us, like if something that went wrong in your journey.
Okay, so
Uh-huh.
now I got your point. Sorry. So like the thing is, apart from preparing for exams, what I realize here is I like this conceptual building in this quantum mechanics. That was my strong subject, and I lacked this one thing. So like you should study or explore much more things as much as you can, like interact with people or just get to know what they understand from that subject, and you just follow one book if you want, but in the meanwhile, some time, just take out some time and just study some other book. Like Townsend, I recommend that Townsend you must study before starting your masters. In the when you get this gap of this, not 2 months or something like that, you must study Townsend in that time, and something like that, or you should start studying on your own what interests you. Like the first year before coming here, I didn't do much in that holidays, but this summer I had a break and I started studying quantum field theory myself. So I obviously I didn't cover much, but I am now kind of ready for the classes that are coming. I have some kind of confidence already built up in myself. So you should like move ahead of yourself and just keep on doing it. Like it never set back and study and relax, and like if you are getting bored of something, study a different book. That's very good thing to do.
Yeah, during exam, I mean, you may not able to study many textbook because of time restriction, but that exam to interview or exam to the course that you join, you better fill out some gaps.
Yeah.
And take some courses like NPTEL or MIT OpenCourseWare, PDX. I mean,
Yeah, anything like just a new perspective of the subjects that you already.
exactly. New book means it will give the different perspective. Yeah, exactly. What I find, did your JE, because you have seen them right in engineering or even in BSc or MSc also, not much different. I mean, we don't usually focused and studied actually in even in my BSc MSc also. I think the same thing is true for engineering courses also. So I mean, did your focus came from your JE preparation? Focus like
Focus on what in studying physics.
huh. I mean,
Like
no, I mean the overall. I mean, you have to focus, then you will study, then the outcome you can see, right? Okay, you are
yeah,
interested.
I think I like now if you have pointed this out, like now I think that I must have learned from them, that because that my sir, as I told us, Saurabh Tiwari, like he these his words usually like affects me till now, like what you should do and what you are doing, and like something like that. If like you are sitting, then there's other competitors. If you talk about the exams, then the rest of your competitors might not be sitting and enjoy or watching movie right now, but you are doing so, you are already getting behind of them. So something like that, and why should I be consistent, and all of these stuff might have been coming to me because of like previous preparations days, but also the interest was the big thing.
Can I say like this? You were interested in physics so much, that's why focus came along with that one. Can I say like that?
Yeah, but I don't know what the focus you are meant. Like, what do you mean
Look
by
at here.
focus? Like, I was inconsistent, but I was not enough inconsistent to just leave the subject. So that's it. So that was my passion for the subject, that I never left it, and that was my laziness or lack of discipline that I sometimes slacked off or did something else, something like that.
No, I mean, if you have to study Griffiths or Mary, you have to spend time, am I right? You have to sit for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. I mean, even though you are not understanding something, you have to be patient and read again. I mean, this is
Yeah.
what I was
Ah,
pointing out.
so that I remembered what happened in lecture course. Like uh, uh, for me, like when I stuck somewhere, then I become more serious, something like that. So So I remember when I was watching these lectures, online lectures. That's why I left. I don't watch lectures now. So when I was watching these lectures from MIT courseware in the beginning, I got stuck in some doubt, and I paused the videos and I just sat there, and I wasted 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, like trying to figure out or asking here and there, like what it should be. And finally, after 2 days, I resumed the videos, and the next line was the answer of my doubt. So I was like, "What?" So that's why I started preferring books. We can see past, or we can like turn over the pages whenever you want, and books actually talk to you much more than the lecture. In usually, like, lecture is abstract of a book. Like, book is much more than that thing, but it takes time.
Yeah, I hope viewers are getting my point. I mean, I used to tell that one. I mean, if I study book and deliver a lecture, if book is 100%, okay, I can
Yeah,
deliver around 70%. Then you can listen around 50% of 70%.
that's the point.
Then ultimately you are getting maybe 25-30% of the HO subject. You have to go back and read the books again.
Yeah,
So that
here
is the
also, yesterday this thing happened. Like, our lecture was this Dilip Jatkar sir. He's like quite famous about his teaching. He taught something, and I didn't understand much of the class. And later on, I went on and saw some book. It was general relativity. So I saw some book by Sean Carroll. So, sir, from that, what I saw, the sir exactly studied from that book, and there's the same thing that he's telling in the class. So there, I was like seeing much more and was understanding much more than what I got in the class at that time.
Mhm.
And now his notes make sense more now, before after reading the book. Like, before, I weren't able to understand it much.
So one question here in Google Meet: how do you read book? They are so vast. How do you read them efficiently without wasting too much time?
That's also variable. Like, there's no fixed answer to it. It depends on person to person how to study.
Okay, I mean now if I ask you, okay, Griffith's first chapter, how much time you took to complete? No.
How would I remember that?
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I do remember that whenever there are some parts in this chapters that at that time I didn't want to study, or I was getting bored, so I just skip the chapter and move on to next one. That thing works for me. Like, I can skip a whole subject and move to a next subject which requires this subject. So when I go to the next subject, I have enough motivation to study the previous subject. So then I come back to this subject and start studying it, and like, finally the things work out, and I know where it will be useful. So that way I proceed for different subjects, and that way we can proceed for books also. Like, you are studying chapter 4, you studied half and you are getting bored. Like, what's all this? This is all maths or something like that. It's not physics anymore. And you just start studying chapter 5. You will know what chapter 4 was, and why it was important, and why it was placed before chapter 5. So that way you can come back and move on. The thing is,
Yeah.
we must move on.
Okay. Nice. So I mean, apart from, outside this institution like HRI and all, okay, if people wants to study field theory or general relativity, suppose if they have quite a good grasp of this Griffiths level concept, suppose, okay, if they want to study the next level like field theory or general relativity, what is the suggestion from you?
You are asking for yourself, no? Like,
No, 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 no. I am quite not so interested in GR. No, no.
so
Why I said, because I mean people have to taste it. Am I right? Okay, MSc student usually,
hmm,
while they enroll for PhD, they will enroll for a subject actually. BSc
hmm,
student can explore more in the MSc.
hmm.
Uh, but MSc student who already completed MSc in state college or outside colleges, so they, if they choose this kind of subject, they didn't have that course in their MSc actually. I mean, our MSc courses are quite weak outside the premier institution. So, I mean, what is your suggestion? I mean, what courses that you suggest, like that you
So
watch some MPT and
just as I said, like for me, it works that instead of studying this what mathematical methods one, if I started studying quantum field theory back then I would have enough motivation to study mathematical methods one or the things used in that subject. So usually the books, this is the thing, I prefer books over anything else. But like in these holidays, I started studying this Peskin and Schroeder, this like the famous book for quantum field theory. So I started studying from that, and like I liked it. So I was studying it before anyone was even teaching us here. So that's it. If you want to study it, you start studying. What else do we need?
okay, you suggest
And
books only.
yeah, but like also it's your preference. Now, if you want lectures, then there are good lectures available. Like for quantum field theory, my classmates are watching these lectures of Ashok Sen, uh,
Hmm.
this famous string theorist from India. So they are watching lectures of Ashok Sen, and there are also lectures of some other. I don't recall right now, but they, it depends on your taste. There is enough material, but it's not key. There is no good material online. There is enough material, and you can study. Or GR have a lot of things like GR have many lectures and many books, so you can just start studying. The first thing is like, but there's this structure. So, I remember what I used to do in my bachelor's. I uh, I used to follow the syllabus of IISc or TIFR or like something, some those big institute for bachelors in physics. I downloaded their syllabus and watched the contents, what they are teaching, in what format they are teaching. And even MIT, I think I downloaded that PDF of the bachelors of MIT, and I said like, if they are studying, why can we? We have the curriculum, we have the books, so that's it. From there, we can get what we should study first and in what this manner we should study. Yeah, so that's the answer. You follow some institute syllabus.
Okay, you were doing engineering course. That's why you thought, okay, let me follow the premier institution BSc course, like you were
Yeah.
doing BSc.
Yeah, so yeah, that's
That
also.
was
If
very
I were
smart.
doing BSc, I might not have thought about that, but
Mhm.
I
That was very
realized,
smart
yeah, that we can do.
because we will get the curriculum, even a reference book and assignments also, right?
Yeah,
Those are
there.
not any secrets anymore. Okay, so I'm observing the whole person. I mean, Siddarth. I mean, your attitude towards learning. I mean, book learning and uh, approaches. So it was quite different from others actually. I hope many of these points, whatever you explained, will be helpful for everyone. Overall, if you want to give any message to our course and to our students, can you?
No. I'm not in that position. Like, there's no
I mean,
message thing.
okay,
You can ask anything, and I can give answer of that. Nothing else.
okay, yeah. Okay. Wait a second. How do you keep hold of the things you learned for a long time? How
I
do you
don't.
keep hold of things that you learned for a long time?
No. I don't. Like, I personally, I forgot. I forget many things. So you just, when you forget, you revise it again. Like, I don't know about that.
Hmm.
This
Okay.
revision, like everyone knows, this revision is must. So keep revising, kind of thing. But when I don't revise, I forgot most of the things.
Mhm. Okay. Nice. I mean, as a overall, I mean, correct me. I mean, usually I used to I need to understand clearly so that I can guide the student properly. So I feel as a whole, your attitude, I mean, was quite good. Like picking the Griffiths, and even though it is hard, let me do that one. Or picking.
It's not hard actually. Like that's
No,
the
no, no, not for
best
you.
book quantum. Like we can say.
I mean, not for you. I mean, because I mean, outside. I mean, people are quite okay. There are some comments on our course like we do very advanced topic like that. Uh,
Don't know.
okay. But I mean, I keep on saying the CSIR net gate or this just syllabus, these are undergraduate level. I mean, as you might have experienced, if you download IAC or any IIT BSc syllabus, these are the syllabus actually.
Yes.
So you were quite not hesitate to do that one. And one more very nice thing is, okay, if you are bored about this chapter, you go to next chapter and come back. That was a very good strategy because it is required. I mean, you will understand that, okay, this is required for to progress.
Yes.
So that's a quite a good point that we can note. So then, so did you
Like there's
make any
some
small
person.
notes? Huh.
Wait a second. I can't see.
No, no. Did you make small notes of formulas for
Yeah.
exam
Yeah.
from all?
I still do that. Like yeah, for revising things. Like I still have my Griffiths and made this year before my quantum mechanics 2 exams. And the last page, I wrote whole of this, like everything that I know of the subject. Yeah, I used to do that. 1 page or 2 page or 3 page small notes or main points that I think that I must remember that I write down.
Hmm.
That is like it's everyone's strategy of how to.
So do you think
Some
we should have a physical copies of the book? Is it better than reading online?
that's also a personal taste. Like how would I know? I like physical books. I never read from PDF. That's it. It depends on you. If you can read from PDF, that's the very good thing. Like what else do you need? You have everything in your head. For me, like
Okay.
I have any physical books. Like now that books that we study, we can't even buy them. Like they are only hardcover and they are 5,000, 6,000, 7,000.
So if your PC or if you don't have login on OTT, then I hope online copies are also okay. I mean, after half an hour, you should not end up being on OTT. I mean, on PC.
That is also a point. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, as someone is mentioning, at least some of standard books we should have. Yeah, I also agree to the point. Like, at least you should have a Griffiths in your house. No, like what physicist you are, you don't have a Griffiths,
Oh,
something like
okay.
that.
Okay. Nice.
Thank you, Siddarth. It's such a nice talk. The question is when you are solving problems, when we stuck with the problems, we are start thinking about the problem whole day. Spend a lot of time on that. How to move on from that problem, we don't know. Always, if I doing next problem also, I keep thinking on last problem. Hey, I messed up here. In between, I go there, then I'll start solving that.
Yeah, that is actually a problem. Like that's hard to answer. Like just solve the previous one and then move on. Like why? How could we not solve that and move ahead? I don't know. That's the same issue we have. But in the exams, like I said, in the exams we should not do this. Obviously, I remembered when I prepared for JE. I was scoring quite low. So my teacher analyzed my paper, online paper that we would, and there we can see how much time did we spend in each of the problem. There he saw just like there were 15 minutes, 20 minutes given to one problems, and he was like, "What are you doing? Like this is not the rule for the exam." He called that golden rule. There's a golden rule for exam that you see a problem, you just saw it and you know the answer, then you take the answer and you move ahead. If you see the problem, you think you will get the answer surely, but it will take 2 to 3 minutes, or you need to write down some things. Then you also mark that for later and move ahead. And so in the first time, you just take all the easiest problems and you just solve them. Then you come again to the paper. Then you write the 2 minute questions, like the things that you can answer in 2 minutes. You solve them. And then you move ahead and you complete the paper. And you again come back for those problems that you see and you think that you might be able to do. Then you again do them. I think that by that time paper will be over. But if you do that only, then you come to the problems that you see and you don't know the answer to. Like that's the golden rule for the time management in the exam. And if you want, you can apply in the life. Like if you are getting low scores in life because of that, you must move on from this problem to next problem. Later on, you might just click it like that. You'll get to know, oh, I know what answer to that problem was, and you'll just do it. Something like that.
So
Thank
you
you.
should judge by looking into the problem, like how much time it
Yeah,
takes.
yeah.
Either I have to
That,
do now or later.
yeah,
You have to decide and move on.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like we know like this problem, this is I'll definitely do it, and this problem, there is a confidence in us that will shake if we see something like above our scope, something like that.
Okay, then if we don't have any question, we shall slowly close the session. So Siddarth, thank you so much for being part of our SN Boost Physics Learning Center. And thank you so much for this session. Actually, we understood a lot from this one. And I hope, our student community slowly absorb. There are some common attitude of winners actually. At least those common attitude, everyone have to try to digest and follow actually. I hope our whole student community will absorb those things. So thank you so much on being a part of this SN Boost Physics Learning Center and guiding this session actually. So joining this session. I think you said you don't have any message actually. Okay,
Yeah.
I hope, we have already received a lot. Thank you so much for joining this one. If there are no questions, we shall close the session. Any question?
Thank you for inviting.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So please be in touch with us and keep guiding our students actually, because
Yeah,
after
like anyone
MSc you will have.
text me on WhatsApp. Like I said, I use WhatsApp. You can just text me or whatever. You can call me, whatever you want. It's good.
So so you will have PhD, and again you will proceed with your journey. Your further experiences are also very helpful for the students who are beginning their journey. So that's why I will be keep troubling you in future, like
Yeah, yeah,
texting you for any
definitely.
help. So thank you so much for this session. We'll meet again.
Most thank you.
Yes, thank you.